And then we often see racers and crew chiefs coming out here and looking at the track. Do you kind of want to explain to the fans what exactly you guys are doing out here? Because it just looks like blacktop to me. So what are we looking at?
So as a tuner, you know, we're looking to see how hot the track is, and we're looking to see, you know, if you got rubber buildup or if you got glue. And then most of us use a track meter as well, and it's either the suction cup or the lay down style meter.
Yeah.
But it tells you how much grip's on the track. So,
okay.
And then we kind of tune by that, because obviously if you don't have the grip, then you got to back off on your tune up your power. So
when another guy comes out like this, do you kind of like push him out of the way and like, hey, this is my data? Or
we have no tolerance for him. Because you see, most of these guys, they come out here with this,
right?
Because we know it's probably pretty good, but the temperature is going to determine how good it is. So,
okay. Yeah. So what temperature is good?
It depends on the track prep. So,
right.
I mean, we've seen it 113, 115 degrees and still be really, really good.
Okay.
But if you can get a track that's, I'd say 100 degrees and below, and you got good track prep,
yeah,
it's really good.
Nice.
Obviously, the cooler it is, the tighter it's going to be.
Right.
So
right.
The tighter it is, the more power you can put to it.
Okay. So there's a lot that goes into making these cars go A to B down the track.
Man, you got to be a timing management, a fuel specialist, a meteorologist. you got to do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of calculations.
A lot of different stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Track specialist. I mean, it's a lot that goes into it. But you don't just go out here and put it in drive and floor it and go down the track. So you're trying to manage anywhere from 34 to 4,000 horsepower, depending on your overdrive.
Right.
You know, you can't put all of that power to the ground when you take off.
Yeah.
You gradually have to bring it in. So.
Gotcha. And the track changes as you go down the track too, correct?
Yeah, normally what you see is the start line will be a certain temperature.
Right.
But when you get out to 60 to 100 feet, it'll be 10 or 12 degrees hotter.
Gotcha.
And that's where people are trying to apply power.
Yeah.
So the track's naturally hotter through there. And so you have to be careful with that area, because normally that's where people take what they call taking the tire off.
Right.
So it's just all management, and you can be good as you want, but it's an educated guess at the end of the day.
I understand that.
So it just takes a lot of laps.
Yeah.
On the same car, you know. And
yeah.
Just get your chassis worked out to go straight, and just it's a lot to this thing.
Yeah.
So,
well,
it takes a lot of years and a lot of notebooks.
Right. Well, we appreciate you bringing us out on the track and kind of explaining to the audience what you guys are out here looking for. So,
no problem.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. Let's go ask this guy what he thinks about the track. We won't ask him because he track preps it, so it's perfect every time. So we won't worry about. So what are you out here looking for? I just got done talking to Brandon, but I'd like your opinion.
The exact same thing Brandon said.
Exact same thing Brandon said.
Welcome back to Flow Sports here. It's Midwest Drag Racing Series. Look at that shot. We have Ronnie Munich's car coming up here. We have Keith Haney behind him. Look at this. Alrighty. Here we go. Round 1 of Pro Modified action here at the Throwdown in T-Town, happening shortly. This is round 2 of the Throwdown in T-Town. If you didn't catch us on Flow Sports, you didn't come out the other day, we had 2 full days of racing over Wednesday and Thursday, and it was an absolute joy to watch. As we are right about ready to fire these cars up. Should be a matter of seconds. You see them getting the starters ready here, plugging them up, getting them ready to go. It's about that time, folks. And we have the official go-ahead. All right. Again, if you're, while it's quiet, don't forget to go to the Midwest Drag Racing Series YouTube page, the MWDRS YouTube page. We will have full uploads of all of our races throughout the year right there on the Midwest Drag Racing Series YouTube page. We're getting ready to start here, and our first pair is going to be Brian Sanders and Ronnie Munix. Munix, the 2020 Pro Modified champion. Here we go. It's the big show here at the Throwdown in T-Town. First pair on the right-hand side, racing out of Houston, Texas, a man who had quite the adventure. That's Brian Sanders. And on the left side, we are talking about the 2019 champion, Ronnie Munix. Ronnie Munix takes a nice little burnout there. Sanders yet to pull into the water box. There's the fire up. Alrighty, Munix says Ron who on the side of his car because, well, if he didn't put it together, it's a little bit of a hard to pronounce last word. Alright, so it looks like Ronnie Munix is going to run a single pass on the left-hand lane. Brian Sanders having trouble firing the car up, and we're going to push him back one more, and he will run alongside. It looks like Keith Haney. And so there is your shot there. That's Warren Evans on the shot. So take a look at the staging lanes at Thornton, still in store. And it's just going to be Ronnie Munix. Ronnie Munix won a couple rounds, but did not take the victory. He was your number 1 qualifier, by the way. An absolutely fantastic qualifying round, and that was yesterday morning. Here we go. Green lights and off we go. Here's the pass to 330 and across the line. Look at that. Starting things off with a 367 and a 9 from Ronnie Munix. 367.9 to start things out. And look at that. I can't believe Munix. It's a little cooler than yesterday, but I find it honestly hard to believe that they started things off with the 67. That's going to be a heck of a time to beat. And here we go. Keith Haney, you know his name. Brian Sanders on the right-hand side. He's got it fired up, and he is ready to go. And they are backing it on up. Here we go. Keith Haney hitting it in reverse. It's the park. And Crosses it on up. Here we go. Tries the forward gear. Pushes it right on up. About time to get staged here. Remember, folks, 2 lasers. They run parallel. You got to break both of them to engage the system. Brian Sanders out of Houston, Texas on the right-hand side. You see Keith Haney. This is one of the only nitrous cars we run here in the series. He runs consistently in the series. Keith Haney purges the nitrous. Ladies love nitrous purges, by the way, of course. And he gets ready to rock and roll. So his wife, Beamer, happy birthday, Beamer. Her birthday is tomorrow. We'll line them on up. And here we go. Halfway, or quarter of the way stage up, waiting on Haney to break that first beam. It's up to the Black Mamba. There it is. Oh, Sanders right, answers him back. Here we go. Off we go. Oh, and look, Sanders has to lift and across the line. Haney with a 66 and a 5 at 205. At 205.19. Whoo, boy, Brian Sanders has a run to forget. 797 and a 2 at 53. Starts on up. I'd like to remind you guys again, the Midwest Drag Racing Series YouTube channel. That's where you guys want to be. Go on out, give us a subscribe. Check us out. Also on the Facebook page, Midwest Drag Racing Series. We're on Facebook. All of our updates, all of our highlights, everything is on the MWDRS Facebook page. As Joshua Vettel on the right-hand side, that purple Barracuda. Barracuda. Going up against Brandon Snyder. Brandon Snyder, by the way, he's driving he's driving Stephen Whiteley's car of Why Not Racing. Stephen Whiteley can't make it, so how about Brandon Snyder? Last night's winner, yeah. And there's a healthy pair of burnouts there. Joshua Vettel throws it in reverse at about the 120 foot mark. Brandon Snyder on the left-hand side has a little bit more backing up to do. Brandon Snyder, last night's winner, and he could not get a hold of this car on Wednesday. And yet here we are. He was Thursday's winner, and here we are, and he's going to make a run here. It's maybe the number 1 qualifier, although I will tell you this field is stout. And I'm telling you this literally 3 cars in, because if you know drag racing, you know when they open the gates in the 3.6s, goodness gracious. This is going to be absolutely brutal to watch here. The air hasn't even cooled down yet for the night. First call, by the way, Top Dragsters, we need you in the lanes. Top Dragsters, we need you in the lanes, please. So we take a look. Halfway staged up as we wait for Brandon Snyder to bump into the beams. Inching forward. Just a little bit more as we wait. Come on, Brandon. Still hasn't lit that bulb. There it is. 2 bulbs lit. There's the freeze as we go off. Over to the 330 and across the line. 2 okay times. A 373. Usually I'd be going off about how good of a time that is. But Brandon Snyder finds himself qualified 3rd. That's right. Yesterday it was a good time. 3, 7, 3, and a 1 at 202 miles per hour for Brandon Snyder. And Joshua Vettel with a 382. And 382, by the way, would have been like the number 4 qualifier, I think, after Wednesday. Yeah. Been right in the show, and right now you find yourself second to last, and that's really only because Brian Sanders had a lackluster performance there. And look at who that is on the gas, breaking down that tail around it. And there's another burnout. As we say hello to Ed Thornton and Aaron Wells. Ed Thornton, he has a brand new car. If you missed us yesterday, Ed Thornton He crashed his car, I mean, on literally the last pass he could have made in 2022. Crashed his old car, got a brand new one, said, hey, we were going to make that old one into a top sportsman car anyway, so he's just accelerated by a little bit. He already had this car on order, by the way. So one of the newest cars of the year right there. Take a look at that shot, courtesy of Warren Evans. He gets down on his knees. Look at that shot as he stares down the line. As we creep just a little forward. Inching forward again. And we are halfway, staged up, ready to rock here at Tulsa Raceway Park. Thornton in the left lane, Wells on the right lane. Green lights, and off we go. Look at this. This is a couple of burners across. Ed Thornton gets a little skeevy across the 8th mile, but look at the time from Aaron Wells on the right. He fell asleep at the light, over a 10th of a second reaction time, but logs a 3:69 and a 9. Incredible. 3:69.9, just into the 3.6s for Aaron Wells at 2:05. And Ed Thornton loves the top speed. His 3.73 and a 0 at top speed of 213 miles per hour. Tony Williams out of Millington, Tennessee, the Millington Meteor. Rolling on through here. That's the Sandman. We love seeing Sandman out here. Why do we call him Sandman? Because he calls sand. It's not really that complicated. He's one of the nicest guys you will ever meet, though. He had a really close call. I remember in Martin, Michigan last year, you know, Robert Gallegos got real loose. Tony Sandman Williams blew 3 belts that weekend, and that one might have saved his seat. And there's Sandman Williams on the left-hand side. On the right side, that's Chris Giuliano out of Iberia, Missouri. Now, he had a rough start to the year. I'm telling you, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, he had a rough qualifying session, didn't make the field. Then he was the alternate. He made the field, and he broke down before he could show up to be the alternate on Thursday. So, I mean, if you're Chris Giuliano, you're just saying, hey, let's, can we get to point B? We're at point A. Let's get to point B. You know what I'm saying? Yes, look at this shot from Warren Evans. Side by side, green lights, off they go. Past the 330, Giuliano gets right into the middle. He takes out the cone. And a moment of silence for our cone friends. Okay, that's about enough. Tony Sandman Williams, as I try and move away. Tony Sandman Williams, 3:89 and a 5. As Chris Giuliano logs a 4:205. At 136. Sandman, not a bad 389 and 5 at 196 miles per hour. Folks, Frankie Man Taylor over here. He's lining up in the left-hand lane on the right-hand side. We have Corey Smith. Corey Smith actually blew an engine earlier. It's time for a little bit of burnout. I got to get back up. We got to read some times off. We got to go pro mod racing, baby.
We need Champion Auto Lift, Pro 420 to the lanes. Champion Auto Lift, Pro 420 to the lanes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been acquainted, Attention to the pits, attention to the pits. Champion Auto Lift Pro 420 to the lanes, please. Champion Auto Lift for Pro 420 to the lanes, please. Well, folks, if you haven't been acquainted, meet Frankie Madman Taylor on the left-hand side. Taylor on the left-hand side, one of the most legendary figures in Pro Mod racing right here. He's got the IHRA decal on the side of him. Corey Smith on the right-hand side. Racing out of Detroit, Michigan. Joined us last year for our race up in Martin, Michigan. Over at US 131 Motorsports Park. As Madman Taylor, he had the #1 qualifier coming out of Wednesday's race, but didn't participate in the round 3 of qualifying, so he kind of got a bump down to #2 qualifier. Here we go, halfway, staged up. 3/4 away, ready to go. Off we go, past the 330, let's take a look, 372, that's a stout run for Madman Taylor. He was asleep at the light though, over 1/10 of a second, as Frankie Taylor slots in 4th with a 3.726. Corey Smith, a 3.88 and a 4. Well, top 5 time last night. Nothing today. Madman Taylor crossed the line, by the way, 198 miles per hour. And here he is, folks. Tito on the left-hand side. Mark Weirdenhausen. And John Stouffer on the right-hand side. Weirdenhausen, old Tito we call him. He's racing a 69 Camaro. Beautiful shade of red. Tires spinning. And what a tremendous pairing this is. John Stouffer racing out of Neosho, Missouri. They're both going to get to about 330 foot. That's what that block is. That middle orange block they just stopped at, that's 330 feet. And they're backing towards the orange cone near the Osage Casino and Hotel. That block is 60 feet from the starting line. Now, Tito Weirdenhausen. I mean, he dropped a 359 in preseason testing at XRP, I do believe. You see them adjust the wheelie bar right behind the cars. So we creep on forward here. In for the first run of qualifying. Inch forward, inch forward, inch forward. Here we go. Time to beat. That is Keith Haney with a 366 and a 5. He made it to the finals last night. And he fell to Brandon Snyder, who, by the way, Snyder, 373. Let's take a look. Tito's got the time in him. So does John Stouffer. We are spooled up and ready to go racing. 3 yellows, 2 greens, off we go. Oh boy, you can see Stouffer on a run, 379 and a 9. It looked like he just let off. Mark Tito Weirdenhausen with a high mile per hour there, a 372 and a 6 at 216. So 372 and a 372 and a 6 at 216. That's the high mile per hour. But look at this, it's the same time as Frankie Madman Taylor. Pro 420 to the lanes, please. Pro 420 to the lanes, please. As well as Top Dragster. We need Top Dragster to the lanes, please. UEM Pistons, Top Dragster to the lanes, please. Woo! Just a little crosswise there. That's Tony Strachan out of Alvarado, Texas. Strachan starts backing it on up. And so too does Keith Goolsby out of Branson. Goolsby is being tuned are assisted by Jeff Pierce. And he has high hopes for the season in that 57 Bel Air. Didn't have the worst start to things, but well, you certainly wish you would have taken a win. Look at the nitrous perch. Tony Strachan on nitrous car. The exhaust there coming out of Keith Goolsby. Let's take a look down to the lanes. You see some dragsters coming off. As we inch forward here, Miss Strachan leads him to the line. So we creep forward, quarter of the way, stage up. Keith Goolsby needs to break the first of the two parallel lasers to engage the system. And there we are, ready to go. Green lights, and look at this. Keith Goolsby running straight, running true, running the 395 and a 9, just not going to be quick enough. Tony Strachan fell asleep at the line. I mean, we're talking a 2/10 reaction time. 395 and a 9, and I know Goolsby's car goes faster than that at 189. Tony Strachan just slots in behind him in 13th in qualifying with a 414. Little 5 on that number at 147. He lifted. You don't want to be the guy who lifts. And here we go, Mark Mickey. So Mark Mickey, legend of the sport. He was in the World Series of Promods not too long ago. Look at that burnout from Mike LeBate. Goodness gracious. That's a show. And I don't think Mark Mickey is there he is. He's fired up now. As Mike LeBate backs up. Mark Mickey over here on the right-hand side. Gonna do a nice burnout. But Mickey came off of the trailer and dropped a 372 on everyone during a hotter portion of the day. It's cooled off just a little bit. And look for him to have an absolute time. He is storming in reverse. Look at that. Woo, watch out there. It's like, hang on, I want to get back there. The Angry Bird of Mike LeBate. Chad Reynolds getting the shot. So we creep it on forward here. Mickey racing out of Jefferson City, Missouri, capital of that great state. Mike LeBate racing out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Always love the starting line shenanigans here over here. Mike LeBate on the left-hand side. It's his turn. He's got to bump in. Both of them got to bump in here. Here we go. Final call. Champion Auto Lift 420. Final call. 420s to the lanes, please. And we are just about spooled up, ready to go. Here we go. 2 green lights off the launch. Look at this. Past the 330. Mickey crosses the stripe with a 369 and a 2. And that's a run you can be proud of. 3-6-9-2 at 211. Mike LeBate, a 384 and a 4. That's going to slot him into 11th. At 384 and a 4 at 186. So Todd Martin will be taking a right lane single. Just a single pass as we wrap up round 1 of qualifying for Promods. And that there is one, Mr. Todd Martin, the owner, the operator, the business master. Excuse me, I've spoken too hastily. That is Brandon Pez in Todd Martin's car. Todd Martin had family obligations to be at, so Brandon Pez has to take over for qualifications and racing tomorrow. There's limits on how many times you can swap drivers throughout the weekend, and Todd Martin's like, I just got to let him start on it so he can take the hits and we don't have to run afoul of that. Brandon Pez on the right-hand side. Todd did tell me that earlier. I just, I see Promods, I get excited. I go, hey, that's Todd Martin's Promod. But it's Brandon Pez behind it. The second replacement driver after, of course, one driven by Brandon Snyder that belongs to Stephen Whiteley, or is usually helmed by Stephen Whiteley. Here we go, the shot. As Brandon Pez stares down the track. Halfway stage up, all the way stage up. Green lights, and here we go. Cross the line, and here we go. Pulls the chutes. 372 and a 2. Or the 201. 372 and a 7, pardon me. 372 and a 7. And that puts Todd Martin in at 7th.
All right, Jimmy, if you see anything, don't hesitate.
And so that brings us to our last Promod. Just one more to go. And folks, it brings me great joy to say that a bump is in effect. That's right. We have more cars in the 16-car field. We actually have 19 so far. So that means that 3 guys are just, they ain't going to make the show, to be quite honest with you. So, 16-car bracket. We have 19 cars. So you need to go faster. Right now, a 4:14 and a 5. And that will tighten up as we move throughout the day. It very much will tighten up. As Chad Reynolds takes this incredible shot here. Look at that. Look at that. Track staff, we need you to check radios. Track staff, check radios, please. To run this Promod will come tomorrow. And that brings us